Hello beautiful people, how's it going? I'm back with another video and I just witnessed cinematic excellence. I just wanted to let you guys know, fun fact, this movie was actually renamed to Crazy Bear in the Middle East. So you know what? For fun's sake, I'm gonna refer to it as Crazy Bear because the premise and the trailer doesn't give it away enough. I don't know what it is with movies in 2023, but they've really disappointed me so far throughout the year. I enjoyed Megan, but I felt it was very average, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania wrecked my perception of the MCU moving forward. And so sitting here today and speaking to you all about a movie that genuinely floored me so well, I wanted to talk about how great Cocaine Bear is. This movie is directed by Elizabeth Banks, which really surprised me when she came up in the first 5 minutes of the title card, and I'm honestly truly amazed by how good of a director she is, because this movie had me and my entire theater rolling in laughter. I know that the movie's not getting a really good rep on Rotten Tomatoes or on a lot of YouTube videos that I've watched, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you guys about it today. This is a movie that you guys should all totally go see just for the fun of being in a theater and watching a movie that is absolutely insane. It has been so long since I went to see a movie where the premise was just so creative and out of this world that it grabs you. It grabs your attention and you just want to see more. I genuinely was in this movie for an hour and a half, very short runtime, and I didn't want it to end. And I haven't felt that way watching a movie in a really long time. One of the things I think is really necessary to mention, first of all, is just how funny the movie is. This movie is a horror, but it also works on another level as a comedy, which I think is a really, really great mixture, and it's something that I feel this movie did way better than Megan. As you guys already know, the premise of the movie, a bear runs into illegal substances that have been dropped off of an airplane in the middle of a forest, and he takes those substances, eats them, and he goes absolutely insane and goes on a murder rampage. This movie's rated R in the US, but it's rated 15 plus here in the United Arab Emirates. And to be honest with you, this movie should have been rated R because the gore and violence is just off the chain. But the reason it works for me as a person who doesn't really enjoy gore and violence is that they do it in such a funny way, because every single character in this movie is fighting for their lives, and the comedic timing of this bear and the tricks that it plays on these characters is just absolutely phenomenal to me. By far my favorite storyline in this film, because it's a movie that takes a lot of different characters and puts them all in one place, are these two kids. I'm not sure who they're played by, but these two child actors did an absolutely great job of making me laugh. And there is a specific sequence in this movie that is so insane involving these two kids that I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I honestly could not believe that they got away with making this movie. Elizabeth Banks, if this was her idea to bring this to light, is absolutely insane. I don't know what goes on in her brain, but I think it worked really, really well for me. I think the reason I like the movie so much is that the script always took us to places that I just didn't expect. I don't know if I just turned my brain off when I went into the theater, but the movie kept surprising me and kept enticing me in different ways, bringing me further and further into this story. And I was so attached to a lot of these characters because they just constantly made me laugh. Even the characters that I didn't necessarily like in the beginning were characters that really grew on me by the end, and I found a lot of enjoyment in that experience. I also find it funny that this movie used "based on a true story" as a tagline, because it is a true story. Not necessarily the events that take place, but the idea that a bear did actually swallow illegal substances in the US happened. It really happened, and they just took that idea and created a whole movie around it, and I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I had a phenomenal time watching it. I think it's also really important to note that the CGI in this movie is really excellent. After getting out of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania last week, going into this and seeing a bear that looks so real absolutely devour people left and right was just a joy to witness, because again, it looked so realistic. I believe that the bear was actually there in the film. I also think it's really important to note the standouts in this movie. For me personally, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who's in this movie, does an absolutely amazing job. The reason I say that is because I'm so used to watching him on Modern Family, and just seeing him play a role that's so opposite to what we see in Modern Family was really shocking to me. It just showed me how much of a brilliant actor he is, and every scene he was in the film just absolutely blew me away. Him and the two kids, by far, standout favorites. I think they were amazing. To be honest with you, I think the reason this movie works so well for me is just because it's a really, really creative idea. Just the title in and of itself just makes you want to see it. And it made me really happy that a movie like this that, you know, isn't that big in terms of budget is doing so well in theaters here. I mean, I usually only see packed cinemas when it's an MCU movie, but because this movie's trailer and premise and title is just so amazing, the theater was packed, and everybody who went to see it was having a really great time. Apart from this mom who brought her 2 infant children to come see this movie. And they left about 30 minutes in because she started crying, the poor girl. I felt really, really bad. But then again, bad parenting exists, you guys, and it's really, really sad to see. Now, while I did love this movie a whole lot, I do need to mention that there is a reason that this movie isn't absolute cinema to me, and that's because I feel that this movie needed a little more bear in it. Now, without spoiling, what I can say is that the bear is in the movie quite a lot, but there are stretches of the movie where he isn't, and I feel that this movie would have worked even better if the bear was in the film more. And now I understand that the movie didn't have that big a budget, so probably adding more bear scenes would mean increasing the budget by a lot because of the CGI, but I do think that that was an investment that could have worked in the movie's favor, and I think it would have made the movie even better. I also think that because the bear isn't in it as much, the movie does struggle a bit with pacing. I don't think it completely destroys the movie, not at all. I wish the movie was even longer, but that is why it's not absolutely perfect in my eyes and could be better. But nevertheless, I still think it's an absolute amazing film that I highly implore you guys to go watch in a theater with an audience. I know I recently made a video talking about how I really, really hate going to the theater because a lot of people ruin the experience for me, but I do think that if you see this in the right theater with a bunch of people who want to enjoy the film, focus on it, but still have fun, I think you would have an amazing time watching this film. Crazy Bear in the Middle East. I think that's absolutely insane. Personally, for me, I would rate this movie a solid 8 out of 10. The reason I rate it 8 instead of 10 is just because I think there is a pacing issue in the film. But other than that, I truly think this movie is a standout of the year so far. I really think that this is going to become a cult classic in the future, and I really hope that this movie is successful at the box office. I really do, because I want to see more creative, independent ideas like this happen, and I am just so blown away. I would love to go see it again. If any of you want to come see it with me, fly over. I honestly would not mind seeing this movie a million times. 8 out of 10, would recommend, and definitely better than Megan, by the way. I have a bone to pick with Megan. I think it's really overrated. I watched all the reviews and people were hyping it up so much that I just went into the movie and walked out of it feeling like that was okay, but I expected better. And this is better to me. Crazy Bear, I feel so stupid saying it every time, is really, really good and much better than Megan. In my honest, humble opinion, I don't understand why people are harping on this movie way too much. I mean, the reviews are just not great, and I don't understand why. It's almost as if they went in not wanting to enjoy this. I went in hearing that, you know what, the movie's fine, and I walked out of it feeling absolutely amazed. And I didn't expect to laugh as much as I did, but the movie doesn't take itself seriously, and that's why it works so well. It knows that the concept is so crazy, and it just goes for it anyway. And I think that's amazing, and I honestly think we need more of that in cinema and film moving forward. Martin Scorsese's been real quiet since this film came out. I'm kidding. I love you all so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my review of Crazy Bear. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.